Hey, hey, welcome back to Don't Run with Scissors. I'm Kelly, your favorite Jeep driving lawyer, mom of twins, four crazy rescue dogs, a rescued cat, and two rescued guinea pigs, who likes to craft in her spare time, has gone back to school full time to learn ASL, and is trying to train for Iron Man. Failing miserably at it. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. It sends me a message, it boosts my serotonin and my self esteem, and I could use that. And if you are returning, you already know the crazy you're in for, so grab your drink, sit on back, and let's have at it. And by the way, I forgot my drink, so that'll be interesting. Um, so this last week it was run, errands. I think I have found a new office space that will be fantastic. It is so much closer. Now, it is closer to my house. It's also right across the street from where I work out. Um, it's more expensive than my office now, but it's a much better space, and what I will save in gas will pay the difference. So, um, yeah. The other thing is that there's lots of changes coming. Um, I I am 99.9% sure that if there is a seat to be filled on our county bench, I'm going to run for judge in 2024. The question becomes, am I going to run for general seat, so criminal, civil, the basics, or will I run for probate, which is wills, estates that you're settling, guardianships, and adoptions. Um, kind of weighing my options. I don't have to decide right now, but I do need to figure out how to get my name on the ballot and find out what seats are open. Um, and that's proving to be a little bit more difficult to figure out, which is very weird to me. So there's that. Um, so that's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It seems right. But like, I've kicked around the idea before, but it did not ever feel like the timing was right. It feels like it's the right time to make that move. I got my grade back. All of a sudden, I am like roasting. Um, I turned in my first part of my portfolio, and I got my grade back, and I got 100%. So yay! So this next part is due on Wednesday, and we have to take 3 flyers or letters, 2 that are kind of geared towards adults, and 1 that's geared towards a kid. So my first one is a Halloween safety checklist. And obviously that one's towards children. Um, and then I think I'm doing a letter to families from school, and then a paper about postpartum depression. Um, sorry, all of a sudden, all the things are happening. So, um, it has been, it's just been busy. I actually cleared my day. We didn't have deaf blind class, um, deaf blind class on Friday because it's every other week, first and third. I think is how it works out. Whatever. Um, so I cleared that day, and that's when I went and looked at office spaces. William also had a job interview on Friday. He has one tomorrow morning, which I'm just not remembering because I didn't put it on the calendar. Uh, so hopefully, I don't know. So yeah. I'm just I interpreted this morning. We walked around the DIY festival down in Ferndale, which was really fun, but I don't quite know why they call it a DIY fest because there's nothing that was hands on. It was more of like an art show in the street. Like you could buy the art, but it wasn't what I was thinking would be a DIY celebration. Like it was still very fun. Of course, Jasmine and I were together. I had my son. She had her daughter. Her daughter's like 11, I think. Very sweet young lady. Um, and then some of my son's classmates came with us to watch um, and to follow. So that was really interesting. My son actually knows more sign than he realizes, and it's kind of funny. But the one thing, okay, so here's this was the best part, right? So nice to meet you, right? Your hands, like they have to be upright because if they were like this, nice to meet you, that's a whole other meaning. That is not G rated. So he said to Nick, the mentor, and Nick's like, no. You what? William, my son is like, it's nice to meet you, right? So Nick explains to him that that's not me. That's a bad word. And he's like, I have not, nor am I interested in. So then my son's classmate comes. And they were after us because Jasmine and I and Nick and William and Lily went out to breakfast beforehand to kind of settle into our routine. It's something we do. And it's kind of interesting because then we get to practice um, voicing to order food or ask questions or whatever. And so William's classmate comes and she did the same thing. And I was like, wait, I need to explain something to you. I was like, and I literally took her, I was like, make sure they're up like this, not like this. That's totally different. Maybe it's just an interpreter. I don't know. So that was kind of funny. So, um, Nick and I were gonna go to the auto show on Saturday, and with everything going on with unions, and honestly, I needed some downtime, so there was like all these layers of everything, um, and honestly, to support Janet. I mean, otherwise, I don't really have a dog in the fight. Um, but I am one that if I can support my friends, I will. So Nick and I canceled the auto show. So it's not like I'm hurting for hours. I'm not. The other thing is, remember how I had said I lost a bunch of hours like in the spreadsheet that my professor has versus what I had. There was like a difference of 50 hours. So I went and talked to her because I was like, this is not right. Like where I can't be to be off an hour or two. Okay, maybe I messed up something, but to be off 50 and we're going through because I have it all handwritten because I'm old school. She's like, oh my God, do you know what we did? And I was like, no. She goes, okay, the spreadsheet she sent me ended when our summer class with her ended. Well, I got a big, huge chunk. The missing hours, didn't get were done during that chunk between that class ending and the fall classes started. So it went on my first week submission of fall. They're not on the spreadsheet. They're in the air right now because they haven't been added to the spreadsheet. Yeah. But like today, I earned between the little class that I take online, which is actually proving to be very, very helpful. Although it's supposed to be religious interpreting, and we haven't touched on religion at all, or interpreting in church. So I don't know. Um, Last week we did a scary story called The House on Main Street. This week we're working on a video about the eye and explaining the parts of the eye. So, yeah. So this week is Deaf Celebration Week. On Saturday is a big festival down in Southfield. But Thursday night is Peter Cook presentation at school. So we're all three of us are going there. So that's another 2 hours there, and then however long we spend at Deaf Celebration on Saturday afternoon. So yeah, and then y'all pray for me. On Wednesday, I go to Lansing. This is library. This is Lansing. To take my TP test. That's the test of English proficiency, which you would think would be easy, but isn't always, because English is hard. And I also don't have accommodation, so it's doing this test and the anxiety. And to be honest with you, I have a couple practice tests that I'm hoping to review before then. And I've done a little bit of studying, like practicing for it, but not a whole lot because time. Hold please. Okay, sorry. Oreo got a hold of a binder. And he's like, so I go to Lansing to take that. I have to pass that in order to take the BEI or the EIPA here in Michigan. So yikes. But Wednesday she canceled class. So, which is fine. So after the TEP, I will drive back and then I will video my 3 papers. So, at least that's my plan right now. Maybe tomorrow I will do the first paper. The Halloween safety checklist. Sidewalk. No. That's the first rule. Second rule. I don't remember. Whatever. It doesn't matter to you guys at the end of the day. Okay, so what have I been doing? Well, besides looking for office space and driving everybody under the sun everywhere, I have been in office work. We had lots of mediation. I had a CLE that I have to finish watching because my mediation ran long. But I have been stitching on projects. What's weird is, like, I have projects that I've fallen back in love with, which is amazing. But, like, my Sansa Mermaid, I want him finished. He's so close to being finished. But somehow in my rotation, because of the other bigger projects that I'm finally seeing progress on, I don't know that I worked on him at all last week. And that's really sad because he's really close to being done. So I need to somehow fit him into the rotation this week somewhere. Where, I don't know. I also for sure need to make it to the post office this week. And I'm probably going to need to buy some boxes to start moving things in. So, what have I been stitching on? Oh, and then Wednesday online, I signed up for a free class. Although, is it really free if then you turn around and spend $30 on supplies? It is called Tambor. So basically we're going to learn how to bead on organza material. Actually, that's double layered. And then you'll be able to like essentially bead lace, and make it look like beaded lace. It's one of those weird things that I have been wanting to learn, although I did not know the name of it. So I could not find white organza. Apparently, 'tis this time of the year. So I have like the pink colored. So on there, yeah, it just said that you needed certain size beads, but it didn't tell you how many. Hello, this is me then. So I bought all the beads, not really, but they have kind of a pink and whitish silver sort of feel. Like I said, I really did want more of a white organza so that I could go with more sea glass feeling beads. But this will work too. Because part of it was I don't want to spend all this money to buy beads and whatnot on something that I'm never, like, on a piece that I'm gonna never use. Like, that makes no sense to me. I think I will find something to use this on. I don't know what, but whatever. Don't judge me. We all know Kelly and my ADHD. So next week, stay tuned for that because, why not throw something else at me right now? And it's my own doing, so I can't blame anybody else. So. Okay. The other thing is, if I decide to run for judge, that limits where my house that I'm buying can be, because I've got to stay in the same county. So, I don't know. We may be shifting goals. Like, we may be putting off buying the house until after the election, because then I'd have a judge's paycheck, which is quite substantial compared to mine right now to use. So, okay. What have I been stitching on? I'm glad you asked. I know. First of all, I am current on my whip goes. And so now I am working ahead. And I'm okay with that. They're year-long goals. If I finish them early, I finish them early, and then I can focus on other things. So my goal on Modern Folk Embroidery this year is to get it to 50% by the end of the year. We're at... Let me back up the train. For haul, I bought 4 things of DMC. I know, it's exciting. And I bought the dye, finally, to dye the fabric to start the Schoolhouse Rocks sale. So my goal this week is to dye the fabric to hopefully start the Schoolhouse Rock sale from Black Needle Society. I almost said it was from Black Ribbon Studio, which Denise is fantastic, but she didn't do the Schoolhouse Rock sale. That would be the Black Needle Society. Okay. So, ironically, Santa is at 68.65% done, not including the backstitch. The backstitch doesn't show up on Pattern Keeper. So, I mean, seriously, I've been trying to keep like working a little bit of backstitch, doing stitching, working backstitch, doing stitching. So, my goal for Modern Folk Embroidery is to hit 50% by the end of the year. And then next year to finish it, the other 50%. Right now we're at 41.4% done. I have fallen in love with this piece again. I had kind of fallen out of it and was just like, okay, it's nice, but whatever. I have fallen back in love with this. My main colors, for those of you who have been asking, because I have gotten a couple questions through private messages, are 310 and 646. Yes, 646. So my thought right now is, rather than filling in like the little frames with those motifs, I'm just going to keep working on building out each of the frames. So there's these two. How does it go? We'll find out. Let me show you a picture of this. I'm sure everybody knows it, but whatever. Okay. So this is what it looks like. Okay. So I'm working on this section across kind of thing. So my thought is that if I can finish, not worry about the motifs that are here and here or here or here, and then down here, these three, but just work on all of the framework, that next year, if I could even get all of that done, and then next year all I have to do is go in and fill in the few motifs. That shouldn't be that hard. Crazier things have happened. Now that said, who knows? But on WIPCO, it's slated for one more call, and then we stitch on it 10 sessions. So if I work on it in the morning and then take a long break and I work on it, pull it out at night, I count that as 2 sessions. I've got 2 done on this last square. It's got 8 more to be called, in which case I need 8.5% done. Hold please again. Okay. So next up, my favorite, it's Rosie. Rosie is now at, one second. Rosie is now at 44.19%. So much 310. But when I started off, when I started this pattern, there was roughly, I think, like 8,000 stitches of 310, maybe more. I'm down to 3,125 stitches of 310 left. Is it perfect according to the pattern? No, because apparently I can't follow my own pattern and count. Don't ask. Don't ask. I don't know. Does it still look like a truck? Yes, yes it does. So yeah, so that is the front cab. So all of the 310 that's left is, there's a little bit here on the truck, but it's that side. So it's a little bit, it's this piece right in here that's due still, and then the black that's over in here. I love this piece so much. So, oh, that's the other thing I had anaphylactic. Did y'all know that salmon is considered a white fish? Did you know that? Ask me how I know. Yeah. I had an allergic reaction to it. My daughter made it the other night, and yep, allergic reaction. Okay, we did not work on the French horn. I did not work on the peppermint purple. That's also up there in my bag of things. Okay. So on Sundays, we all know how Kelly likes a good alliteration. So on Sunday, it's Stocking Sunday. This one is for the boy child because French horn. Why did I let him pick? Do you see this thing? I'm going to be working on this thing till he's 57,000 years old. And I'm probably going to die with this unfinished because it's going very slowly. And then I still have the girl childs to do. Now the girl childs is a lot of blue. Is a lot of blue. And I debated on the girl childs just dyeing the fabric the blue, because that would make sense to me. Except for then it dawned on me, no, you can't do that because it's on 14 count Aida and you will have the holes. So it has to be stitched so that it's a full coverage. It's a good thing I love my children. But that is where we're at. That's where we made it today. We actually made really good progress. And considering the amount of time I had to work on this morning before we left to go interpreting, that's a huge amount of stitching. Because I woke up at 7 and we had to be in Ferndale by 10, which is about a 40-minute drive south. With construction and stuff. So, and I still had to shower. So I literally worked about an hour on it. So we made great progress on it. So, okay. So I worked on the Pam Survival Cell, and that is Courage by Praiseworthy Design. I do love this piece so much. As we all know, I'm not following the pattern for colors because I'm stitching this on 18 count Aida in the color Clouds by Atomic Ranch. It's a beautiful fabric. And I am using a Threadworks for the blue, Pickle by Forbidden Fiber Co. for the green, DMC B5200 for the white, and a teal from DMC for the teal. So, is it perfect? No. Nope. We got some mistakes in there on this motif. The other thing is when I changed out the letter, somehow my spacing got wonky, but I don't know how. The other thing is there is a little motif in here, but it's in white and it's blowing out on camera. In person, you can see it. It's not like glaring at you, but whatever. But I do love this piece so much. I am starting the word courage that goes through. This is, if I have counted right, if you know, you know. That would be the edge. And I think that's as long as it is as well. It might go down a little bit further. But it's beautiful. This is another piece that I have to find a way of fitting it back in the rotation to make good progress on it. It doesn't have an alliteration. And right now, the only days that I don't have an alliteration is Tuesday, which I've started Truck Tuesday. So, because Sunday we have Stocking Sunday, Monday is Monopoly Monday, Tuesday is Truck Tuesday, where I work on Rosie regardless. And what I do with my rotation is I work on my whatever the theme is in the morning before I start my day, like while I'm having my coffee. Um, and then if I get to stitch later in the day or in the evening, then I may pull out the Whipco or whatever my heart feels. But right now my heart is kind of dead, so you know. Um, or like my 50 card whip pickup. So the only day right now that I don't have an alliteration for is Thursday. And Pam's Survival Courage doesn't fit, like, I don't know. My Mermaid Santa doesn't fit like a Thursday. I don't know. So, okay, on 52 card whip pickup last week, it was the Unicorn Sal, which I call it the Unicorn Sal. It's actually the Trans Pride Tapestry by D's 20 Stitches. If I remember correctly, this came out in 2021. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's this. And I am planning on stitching my unicorn in Diamante because then she will sparkle. And I believe that unicorns should sparkle. And what I found out today, by the way, is that if it has a blue horn, it is a male unicorn. And if it has a purple horn, it's a female. My unicorn in the picture has a white horn. I don't know what to do with that. Like, so I don't know what gender. I think that's why it's called the Trans Pride Tapestry. I don't know. Wish I knew. So I have these motifs done. This one, except for the fill-ins. What my goal is, what my plan of attack on this project is, to do all of the outlines and then go back in later and fill in. I don't know why I fell off the bandwagon with this. I do love it. I do think it's fun. It's on a piece of self-dyed 18 count Ada. In the color, I don't know. I just threw a bunch of shit in the pot and came up with a color. Welcome to my world. So I got this motif finished this last week, and I started actually on the unicorn. So made some good progress there. Not a whole lot, but I only really touched it like once. But I also have some mid-12 for the little gold buckle on him. I mean, I keep calling my unicorn a he. I don't know if it's a he or she. I don't know. He will be all sorts of sparkles, and I am so down for it. Hopefully next year, because on Saturday is Sorority Saturday. I do have some other haul. And because they're sorority related, and I waited to put them in the bag because this is my sorority bag, which is weird because my sorority's mascot is squirrels, and our colors are red, buff, and green. So really and truly, it has nothing to do with the bag it is in, but it works. Okay, so first my haul. I got the quirky Quaker squirrel because our mascot is a squirrel, and if you know, you know. Then I also got the spring Celtic lady from Lavender and Lace. I have decided, because she's holding a bouquet of roses, I'm not going, okay, if I do all of this, which I'm not 100% sure I'm going to, instead of spring, I will probably, what I would do is, let's see, I don't know how I would make it work for alpha gamma delta or AGD. I don't know. I don't know. If you have ideas, let me know. But then I'm also going to stitch her as spring. Probably not in that. I'm not a purple person. I know if you are a purple person, you are a purple person. Like, you saw all the purples. I am not a purple person. Red people are kind of almost to that extreme, but not so much. Purple people are purple people. Purple doesn't really see, especially dark purple like she is on her cape. That doesn't read spring to me. So I am going to do a color conversion on her for spring even. I, of course, am going to change her hair because I am not blonde. Nor is my daughter. So, anyways, right now though, we are stitching this on Be Stitch Me's One More Reproduction Jobelin 32 count. I will say that this fabric is really nice. This is my first Jobelin that I am aware that I am stitching on. That I'm aware of. Okay. It is not my first time stitching on a Be Stitch Me fabric, and I do really like Brandy's fabrics. They're very lovely. I would probably get more of this fabric. I love this fabric as a neutral. But I, on Saturday, got a bolt. I worked on it a couple hours because I actually worked on it when I took the boy child to class and then came back and was still kind of like, I need to decompress from the week. So I just kept working on it. And this is the top of the inside badge. There's a bit more that goes up on top, but this is almost as top words go. This is almost as tall as it is. This is as wide on both sides, I believe, as it goes. It might go like, I think more so it's as wide as it gets on this side. This side may go a little bit wider. My goal again is to get all of the outline done first, and then I will go in and fill in the color. What this also tells me is that for sure going this way, I will have enough fabric to do the Celtic lady so that they all match. And likely in the corner, I will, like, still up here, I will have enough space, it's looking like, to stitch both the French squirrel from JBW, which I don't own. Like, I've stitched it for a million, like, probably 5 or 6 different times for different people, for different sorority sisters, but I don't have one for myself. And then the Quirky Quaker squirrel. And then I will have like a little section of sorority related stitching, which I love the idea of. So that's my Saturday, sorority Saturday. Okay. The other piece that it's not on my Whitgo, just didn't make it on there. No, nothing against it. It just didn't. But pulling it on the 52 card whip pickup has renewed my love for Pandemic by Long Dog Sampler. If you're not familiar with this Long Dog Sampler, I did some math. I did math. I mathed. So if my math is mathin', Pandemic is 365 stitches by 429 stitches. Okay. So you multiply those by each other, and that gives you the total number of squares that are on your fabric that you need. And that's 156,585 stitches. Okay. Your main color, which is what most people are only stitching. Most people. Most. Not me. but most people. That's 77,265 stitches. Okay. So if you subtract that from the 156,585, the background spaces are 79,320 stitches. So if you're doing Kelly math, what you are stitching is 156,000 stitches, 156,585 stitches, because you've made pandemic. You've turned it from a bab to a super bab because you made it full coverage. So, do I love it? I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. Where did we work on it? I'm glad you asked. I will fold it up because the fabric is huge. I'm stitching this on 14 count Ada. It is going to be a big old blanket. It's going to take a big old space. But I finished the leaf. And then I came down. I finished this and added the little mouse. He's so cute. So I finished that. I finished this. I drew out my lines a little bit. And then I started in on this motif. For those of you not familiar with Pandemic, although at this point, I feel like everybody knows Pandemic by Long Dog Sampler. But just in case you don't, this is what it would look like without the background filled in. So right now I am working on, I just worked on, so this is the flower that I'm doing. So as you can see, I'm not that far from the wall. We are at 17.71% done of the main color. Clearly, we still have a whole lot of blue because we're back on like page 1 going into page 2. But I love it. So I will say that this is one of those pieces that my love of has come back, because for a while there I was like, no, not so much. Now I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm getting poked by the needle, which is never good. Okay. All right. So on Monday, I stitch on the Monopoly board, which I have the booklet. It's in my file cabinet. This will go to my son, hopefully for Christmas. So on Monday I work on that. I did get that side filled in, which means that I only have those 3 sides, those 3 little spaces left, and then a lot of back stitching on the properties. I am switching all of the property names, if you recall, to different music instruments because my son loves all things music. There's still a lot to be done. And part of the problem is because like I'm not doing waterworks. I'm switching those. So I've got to draft out all of those motifs on top of everything else. But it is nice to see that the properties are soon to be done. So that is my Monday Monopoly. And what I've always said is once I finish Monopoly, I'm going to start the Scrabble board that I have charted out. So we'll see. Okay. Oh, but wait, there's more. On Fridays, it's Festive Friday, and right now we're stitching Halloween. This was a pay it forward from Michelle at Michelle W11A, something like that on Instagram. She gifted this to me. When I'm done with it, I will pay it forward. Although, if I find a Halloween tree, I will want to stitch this again because I will want to stitch each of the little guys separately as little ornaments because they're freaking cute. I am stitching this on a piece of, it's like a dirty lilac. That's the only way to pronounce it or say what color it is. It's not a bright purple. It's like a dirty purple, like a dirty pastel purple. But I love it, and it is perfect for this project. I know that this project looks like it is stitched on like a beigey orange, whatever. Here's the fun thing about cross stitch. You don't have to follow the recommendations. You can do your own thing. I mean, the worst that could have happened when I picked out this fabric and I decided, yeah, let's try it, is I didn't like it and I just restarted it on something else. Okay. Here in the States, Floss's DMC is pretty cheap. It's like 63 cents a skein. Sometimes you can catch it on sale for even less. So it's not like it's that big of a deal to me. I don't know. Maybe I look at things weird. DMs, okay, if I was switching this and like stitching this in fancy floss, I'd probably not be so cavalier about it. But because I'm literally just like, and I caught the DMC, I think when I bought it on sale, so it was like 45 cents a skein. Like, I'm not worried, I'm not freaking out about it. But I finished my pirate. Friday was a crazy day because that's when I started going. The boy had an interview. I had to go look at office space and whatnot. But I got my pirate done. His eyeball is also in E940, which means he glows in the dark. And I really did debate doing his knife. Hang on. I can't take this barking. Hang on. Okay. So, because I was going, like, I didn't get very long to work on him. But I got the little, I had hoped to start the owl because the owl is next. I did not get the owl started. Whatever. He's still super cute. They're so cute. They're so fun to stitch. And they really, realistically, if I worked all day on it, like most of the day, I could get, if I worked on it more than an hour a day, I actually want to say if I worked on this straight for a solid weekend, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and got in a lot of stitching time on each day, dare I say I could probably finish it because it's only 5 characters wide. And then, of course, I will do the stitching. I'll get you my pretty and your little dog Toto. So that's my Friday stitching because it's Festive Friday. Thank you, Janet, for the alliteration. I was going to do Frightful Friday, but they're not scary. They're cute, and that's how I do Halloween. I don't generally do scary Halloween. Next up is Buffet Mat. Buffet Mat is on my Whipco board. My poor Whipco board. It's a good thing it's on my computer because it's looking really rough. Okay, it's due to be called One More Time this year for 10 stitchy sessions. I have one crossed off. This one takes a bit of concentration because we've already had to frog a bunch, and I'm not willing to frog anymore. Nope, not gonna happen. I hate frogging. Although, am I like new to the snag nabbit? Am I like late coming to the snag nabbit game? If you don't have a snag nabbit, you absolutely need a snag nabbit. I keep my snag nabbit in my jar with my little makeup brush. No, it's not for a makeup brush. It's to get the little fuzzes off. And if you don't have one of these, this is the other Kelly's tips of the day. If you don't have one of these for your cross stitching after you're done frogging, get yourself one. I got 2. I carry one in my little to-go bag and one in up here. So as long as the Oreo doesn't stand on my table again, which he's been doing, it will stay up there. So this is a snag nabbit. It's kind of like got the twisted on the one end, and then it's got like a stick end, a pointy end. Ooh, girl, my nails look good, but my cuticles look rough. Okay. Okay. So you like if you got like just a little, you know how sometimes you get like the little bubble of floss that's uneven and you can't Like you're like, because you're already 3 stitches, like 10 stitches past, and you can't tighten it up. What you do is you stick this down the hole, the little hole next to where it's like loopy, and you kind of twist it a little as you get closer to this, and it grabs that extra little bit of floss and yanks it through. Does that make sense? Look, somebody's probably got a better description of a stag nabbit. I don't know. All I know is that you need yourself a little eyebrow brush and a snag nabbit. And if your eye thing is like mine, is perfect in there. Is perfect. And then it can go up on your shelf. Okay. Anyways. So, Buffet mat is by Unconventional Cross Stitch, because it is totally different than anything else. I mean, that's the name of the company, but this is totally different than anything else I would ever stitch. But it is a gift. It is, okay. On the one hand, it's like, what? And on the other hand, it's like, wow. It's kind of creepy. It totally fits my friend. It is so him. It is crazy. Okay, so we are finally at 2.31% done. My goal by the end of the 9 more stitching sessions is to be at 3%. If I'm really pushing, maybe I'll make it to 5. Not likely. I'd be happy with 3. We might be able to make it to 5%. We almost have a page finished though, which is probably just almost as exciting. I think I'm like 100 stitches done from a page finish. I mean, the pattern's only like 100 pages, honestly. It's like 100 and some pages. But we'll be done with 1. I'll take it. But wait, there's more. On Wednesday, we stitched Wiener Wednesday. Wiener Wednesday is when we drag out our wiener dog projects for most of us. Having a wiener dog is sort of like joining a cult. Usually dog people are like, oh, it's just all dogs. There are exceptions. Wiener dog owners, and you know what I'm talking about if you own a wiener dog, then it's all things wiener dogs. The other thing is us pity owners. If you love a pity, you love a pity. So I have had the Plum Street Sampler wiener dog patterns for quite some time now. I own the entire series. And every time she comes out with a new one, I quickly buy it. But until I started Wiener Wednesday, I wasn't, like, I had stitched, I think, 2, maybe 3 of them. I know I stitched Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, and I know I stitched Spring Rolls. Those may be the only 2 out of the series I had done. I have at least 2 more kitted. This one and Winter Wienerland kitted up. And then I bought Starbarks, because that was a new release in the series, and I was like, this is enough is enough. We need to start pulling out these patterns that we all have, that we love, but they sit in our pile waiting to be stitched. And hence I started Wiener Wednesday, because it's hysterical to say. So I have the Plum Street Samplers series that I'll be working through, starting with turkey sausage. The other one that I work on sometimes on a Wednesday has been the one by River Draft Designs, but I did not work on it this last week. I worked on turkey sausage, and I got a wiener. I have a wiener. I have a big full wiener. I mean, she is just glorious in her little pilgrim hat and her sweater. She's so cute. So this Wednesday when I work on it, I could, there's like a little peacock. Is it a peacock? I think it's a turkey. It is. It's a little turkey that sits on her tail. So I could work on that and then this pumpkin so that I'm all the way over. Or I could come in and put Mr. Wiener Dog in. Guess which one I'm gonna do? Guess. You're probably guessing right. And if you don't know, you'll just see it either on the Instagrams on Wednesday when I post Wiener Wednesday. Or you will see it here next week. There's one more. Okay. This is also on my WhipGo board. This is for my friend's mom. It's a picture of her. It's her favorite picture of her and her late husband. That I then converted the picture into a cross stitch, obviously, because, you know, cross stitch. That's why we're all here. Right now we're at 13.07%. When you're close up, like super close up, you're like, what in the world are you stitching? When you pull it back a little bit, that looks like a face. But when you're close up, you're like, what are you doing? So my goal this month, although it's already the 24th, so that doesn't leave me very long, is to finish filling in her face and hair. Not gonna worry about her shoulders yet, but just to get the blanks in her face done. That will it's very confetti heavy. I don't know why I do that to myself, but I do. And yeah, so yeah. I do have one other thing that I bought. Now that I remember, I have to reach for it. And I bought them, and both my kids were like, "What are you thinking?" These are in the dollar spot at Target. I'm sorry if you don't have Target where you live. I'm sorry. I don't normally actually shop a whole lot at Target. But I saw this on Instagram and somebody stitched the Dracula pattern from Lindy Stitches, which I own, that has been in my pile to stitch for forever. They stitched just one of the bats on perforated paper and they put it in the bat cage. Dangling. And I had to have one. And then Jasmine saw it on my computer screen because when I saw it, she was in class and her eyes were just like, oh my God, oh my God. So I bought 3 of these little cages because I know that once I stitch it for my house, my friend is going to want one for his house. And I'm going to stitch one for Jasmine. So now I have to find black perforated paper. Is perforated paper the same as plastic canvas? Because they have plastic canvas at my Joann's. They do not have perforated paper. And I would really like to start these sooner than later because if I have to stitch it 3 times, we all know it's going to take me a while. The first one I'm going to do is for Jasmine. But these are $5, these little cages. And they come apart. I mean, mine is still wrapped together. But it comes off. And for $5, they are fantastic. Fantastic. And I'm half tempted to go back and get one more, maybe two. And if I do, then that would be a giveaway. But right now, I don't know. But right now, that's also one of those things I bought. Because oh my God, that's going to be so cute. I wish I could remember whose Instagram picture I saw. Because I honestly don't remember. And I didn't save the picture. And I feel bad. Because I would like to give credit to the original idea creator. Because I didn't, well, okay, I don't generally go into Target and go looking for things. I mean, sometimes I go to Target because Target is actually closer than Walmart. But in general, I don't because, I don't know, I just don't. But when I saw that on the Instagram, I was like, how fast can I get my monies together to go to Target? And now I have them. Okay. So that's all of my stitching. I didn't do any knitting. I've legit, I mean, that's a lot of stitching. This new rotation seems to really work well for me. I feel like I'm making some progress on some projects that normally would be languishing about. So I'm practicing my vocabulary for my TEP, so you get words like languish. Okay, and if you guys have a Meijer next to you, I love these. They're 0 calories and there's no, now there is aspartame in them, so if you can't do aspartame, which I understand some people can't, it does not have Splenda and stevia. A lot of these flavored waters have Splenda or stevia in them, and I can't help. Like I said, last week I learned I didn't realize salmon was a whitefish. Did anybody know that? I didn't know that. So my daughter made salmon for dinner, which she loves. It's one of her favorite meals. And I went into anaphylaxis action and had Benadryl and EpiPen myself. And then we went to Culver's and I had a salted caramel pumpkin pie like mixer, which normally is I don't normally have a reaction, but again I started having a reaction. And I don't know what was in that set me off. So if anybody may have a clue what, and there shouldn't have been any peanuts in there. I mean, I know I have a peanut allergy. Whitefish, stevia, Splenda, and maltitol, which is a sugar alcohol, but none of those things like should have been in there. So I don't know. It's starting to get a little terrifying. Needless to say, I won't be eating at Culver's anytime soon, which really sucks because I do like fish. So to not be able to have fish anymore sucks. And thankfully, none of them are airborne. So I can still have peanut butter in the house. I can still have fish in the house for my daughter because it's one of her favorite meals. I just won't be able to eat them that night, which is kind of a bummer. So, okay. So 50 card whip pip cup. Last week was unicorn sale. This week is the 8 of clubs, spades. It's the 8 of the clover. It's the 8 of the clover. Okay, for me, it's a pair of socks that I have been knitting. I did the one. It doesn't even have a heel. It's just like a big tube sock. The only person who can wear them, get them on her feet, are Bella. And the irony is, Bella doesn't eat hamburgers. She doesn't like it. She won't eat a hamburger to save her life. Maybe then she would, but that's not her thing. So it's just knit like a tube sock. I have the one done. I just need to finish the second one. I think I may have even started it on the needles. But that's another one. I'm not quite sure where the project bag is. But I guess that's what we're doing. So next week you'll get to see knitting on top of everything else. Yeah. So hopefully among stitching goals, apparently now I have to knit a pair of sock. I have to knit a sock, or at least portion of a sock. I have to dye some fabric. I have to start packing up my office. I have to sign the contract on the new office. And some other things. And I have to go to Lansing for my TEP. So, that said, I'm going to bed. I'm exhausted. It has been a long week. Again, I'm gearing up for a big week. Send the sage. For those of you who are looking for an update on my niece and my brother and my sister-in-law, they are slowly healing. They are not getting a new dog right now. They're going to focus on my niece's healing, which will be a long process with a lot of physical therapy, given that she's now got a rod in her leg. And when my niece is feeling up to it, then they will look for a new dog for her, which I think is a good idea. Like I said, the boy has an interview tomorrow morning. So, thankfully he's interviewing at places that are very close to where we live. So that's kind of nice. So yeah. Just send prayers that I'm making the right decision about the office, that I'm headed in the right direction, that, you know, the money will be there for the increase in rent, that everything will just take place the way it needs to take place. And yeah. And then I passed my TV. So, with that, I will see you next Sunday. If you need me, feel free to reach out to me at His Princess Kelly on Instagram, or find me on the Facebook, and we will go from there. So remember, you are smart, you are beautiful, you are loved, you are wanted, and you matter. So with that,